Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know, sorry, you never know what you're gonna get. As a chef, I know for a fact that that's true. Many years ago, I lived on a diet of, you should look away, Matterik, Nutella, chocolate chip cookies, and ice cream. We often ran out on toilet paper and toothpaste, but we always appeared to have Nutella, chocolate chip cookies, and ice cream at home. These are my parents. I love them. But sorry, guys, you cannot cook. As you might have understood by now, we had no food culture at home. We had sugar. When I was 12 years old, these guys celebrated their 25th wedding anniversary. My older sister and I, we prepared a 3-course meal, and I remember it to this day. We bought flowers, we made the table, and we made the food look like it was in a restaurant. It was the first time I remember feeling pride. I'm sure the food was so-so, but the effort and the passion put behind it, that was that whole gift in my parents' eyes. From this day on, food was my life. You could say that the box of chocolate was open. It might have been the thought that food brought us all together to enjoy that made me fall in love with cooking. Or it was this guy, Jamie Oliver. I was completely obsessed with him. Remember, I was 12, 13 years old. I used to record his show, The Naked Chef, because I didn't have time enough to write down the recipes. This was way before everything was posted online. He made food seem so fun and effortless. And during the next couple of years, my family got to enjoy a lot of his recipes. I believe that the lack of interest in food and cooking from my parents led to my own curiosity towards it. Today, I'm a cooking entrepreneur, and that was never my plan. But I think I got there for a reason. Although it's such a modern misconception when we post it as a reason, because there's always several. It's like chocolates in a box. As soon as I was done with my degree in culinary arts, I was hungry for work. And as you can see on my eyes, I worked, and I worked, and I worked some more. When this year started, I had no intention of quitting my job as the head pastry chef on a fancy Stockholm restaurant. Working there for the past couple of years had become a huge part of my identity. I saw my friends after 2 a.m. or before 8 a.m. And as some of you might know, going out after an 18-hour shift isn't always the best idea. Obviously, what I needed was sleep. But my friends was one of the few things that kept me sane and apart from work. What I wanted was just to sit around a table with each and every one of them, share a meal, and just talk. Let me tell you something. Standing in a kitchen for long hours forces you to socialize with other chefs. This can make life in a kitchen the best place on earth, or in worst case scenarios, absolute hell. I'm lucky to say that I've met some of my best friends at work. We've battled through shit services, high-fived through services, and we've talked about everything there is to talk about. I've also cried in bathrooms at work after being bullied, and I've laughed so hard I was literally lying on the floor cramping. I'm so thankful for all incredible people I've met in this industry throughout the years. Passionate and creative people with nothing but love for their profession. They've been an incredible support throughout my career, if you can say. They've given me advice, support, and love. These guys are my heroes. Together, we've sacrificed our own social life to benefit others. And I wouldn't have it any other way. This is one of my favorite chocolates in the box. Bitter and sweet at the same time. After working too damn much, I started to questioning myself, who am I doing this for? The answer to this question was the wrong one, and I decided to quit my job. I cried every day for a week. I felt bad for my team, and I didn't know who I was anymore. Every other day, I couldn't help but think, was this a wise decision? Or have I just made the mistake of a lifetime? In a text to my sister, I explained the feeling as part of me died. Insane. You could say that I suffered a severe identity crisis. After some time, I finally got my act together. I stopped feeling sorry for myself, and I did what I do best, invite friends for dinner. 12 people came over, and I cooked a 3-course meal in less than 2 hours. And that's probably the least amount of time I ever put down on cooking. I knew it would be good enough, though. This is from that night. We were just talking loudly, laughing, enjoying each other's company, having good food and wine. And halfway through the meal, a friend sitting next to me said, "Tia, you should do this for a living." I was finally relaxed. I was there, body and soul. And I stopped and listened to my friend's advice. 3 days later, on my 27th birthday, my own at-home restaurant opened its doors for business. For the first time, I started feeling something that had gone lost on me. Something that had lost its meaning, but something that had always been my favorite feeling. Inspiration. I started to write my business plan and must have deleted it 10 times at least. But then I started to look at it somewhat differently. I looked back at the life that I've lived for the past few years to see what was really the core here. Looking back at the chocolates that I've eaten, if you so wish. You see, when I create a dish, what's important to me is the thought behind it. Of course, it needs to taste and look good, but it also needs to be balanced in flavors, in season, and me. Here's a few examples. It could be a childhood memory of having rosehip soup and milk chocolate together and remembering it as a good combination. It can be picking blueberries straight from the plant in the woods and grilling marshmallows towards the end of the night. It can be a new take on that dessert that you made for your parents on their 25th wedding anniversary. It can be the inspiration of a Swedish coastline. Simply just sharing my, rage. Or just using today's findings from the forest. I really try to be personal and put a lot to myself to the table when I do something. So creating a business model on any other way would be impossible. I created my business concept in the same way that I create a dish. I've always enjoyed everything a meal experience is about. Everything from planting, to harvesting, to picking flowers to the table, making an incredible playlist, finding nice plates, and of course cooking and presenting the food in a nice way. To me, these are all ingredients and they're all equally important. My at-home restaurant was about getting back to the core of how we enjoy food. Together, we would all get around that campfire again. It's about taking care of our produce and doing it with passion. This is my meaning of cooking. Today I'm doing everything from cooking to serving to cleaning. And even though my guests might have to wait for the dishes to clear out a little longer, hopefully they'll understand the purpose that I want to achieve. You know that feeling when you're at a party that you never want to end? That feeling has been my mission to recreate. And I think all of you could pursue that ambition. So this is the core. But I also need to say a few words on modern marketing. We're in somewhat of a paradigm shift. Today the question isn't really, how do we get noticed? It's more like, how do we not get noticed in today's online society? It's weird. If you're not talking about it, someone else is. I understand this must be incredibly annoying for a celebrity, but for me, opening an at-home restaurant without any budget for marketing, it's been like that Beatles song, I get by with a little help from my friends. And that to me is what social media marketing is all about. Take Instagram. Instagram is like a big campfire. And my friends and my own Instagram account has been vital for my business. I've reached out to people I would never have come in contact with or met. I have friends all over the world that I only know on a first name basis. You could say that the circle around the campfire is ever expanding. And with every hashtag and share, they all help me with this. It's like they're helping me pass the torch. Personally, a dinner with friends is my ideal way to relax. It might have been the lack of family dinners growing up that makes me appreciate them so much. The love-hate relationship that I have to my job, because it really is, and the support from my family and friends is my key to my happiness and success. Bitter or sweet, every piece in that chocolate box leaves a trace, and they all matter. So here's what's cooking, and what I might contribute with in this TED pool of great thinkers. Life like a box of chocolate is much more than just a philosophy of life. In search for innovation, just look inside. Open that box and study the story and the chocolate, because that's in fact your own life. Thank you.